I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we are, West Point, Mississippi. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
The rut is approaching out here.
We got a big cold front coming here pretty soon, too. So it's the time of year to be in the woods around West Point, for sure.
You know, Christmas is a great time. We can duck hunt. But the deer bucks are chasing.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. You know, the rut has occurred in a lot of places already. Up in the Midwest, parts of Georgia.
Yeah.
It's happened. We may be a little late on this topic, but it's very relevant for where we are and for some other later ruts.
Yep, no doubt about it.
And I'm hoping, Richie, I'm hoping you can learn something here that you could take forth.
I like how you jump on me on this, Bobby. yeah.
You gonna learn him something?
We are.
He's
using that Onyx deer prediction.
Are you using the deer predictor?
I am using it.
I'm gonna tell you what, the features at Onyx just keep getting better.
You mean there's a predictor on there?
The movement predictor, yeah.
Okay. Have y'all used the LiDAR yet?
I have not.
Yes.
You have?
I mean, you can find like the dam to a tiny cattle pond the size of this room on it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, stuff shows up.
What about Indian mounds?
Now, Bobby, you're getting in
Bobby.
a little bit of a gray area
Well,
here.
I just wondered if they showed up.
Why would you want to know where an
I'm
Indian
just
mound
curious.
was?
Well, if I had one on a place, I'd want to know.
Okay.
They probably would.
Yeah,
and they've probably been raped and pillaged already anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, look, let me go ahead and get our guests introduced, and then we'll do blood on the biology. But we've got a man from over in Alabama. If I'm saying this right, Winfield, Alabama. We've got Mr. Lance Atkinson.
That's me.
Welcome to West Point.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
He was introduced to us by Matt Brock, and we won't hold that against him.
No.
You know.
But
The old famous Matt Brock.
I'm told that that Lance knows a lot about deer vocalizations. It's a big part of his hunting technique. And he's killed a bunch of big deer.
There you go. Well, he must know what he's doing.
Richie, you better pay attention. So we want to learn
I'm
a lot.
not on X.
Yeah. Well, you're the only person that we've talked to this night. But we've got a bunch of questions for you. But let's. What about blood on the biologic? You got anything, Dudley?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Young Thomas Baum, son of Stuart Baum, got his second buck this year. But it was really special because it was the first one they got at their new farm, which is always so memorable. And believe it or not, that deer was eating a bunch of biologic clover.
Well, of course it was. What else would it eat?
Yeah.
So congrats to you, Thomas.
All right, Lanny, you got one?
Yeah, Paxton Swan. One of the guys I actually went to high school with, his son, killed a heck of a deer up north of here in the Black Prairie. Look at that one.
Woo! That's a lot of mass. Look how old he looks.
Yeah, it's a good looking deer. And then Sammy Billings, who's a freshman at Mississippi State, killed a deer in western Tennessee, from what I understand.
So good. He's on the board. Yeah. Well, look, I got one, and this is the cutest little girl. Matt Jury's daughter, Lola.
Oh.
She killed her first deer the other day. It's a 6-point. I'm about a week late getting this announced, but Lola, congratulations. She's in a deer-killing family for sure.
No doubt.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I got one more, too. Paxton's brother, just got hot off the presses here, Tanner. Killed a nice 11-point the morning after his brother killed that big deer. So
pretty productive 2 days.
the pressure was on him. Yeah, that's good.
How about that?
Tanner the Hammer.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, we love talking about kids getting there.
Yes, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, Lance, when we turn the conversation, we'll look over at you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into deer hunting, where you from, and all that.
From Winfield, I grew up there. We talked a little earlier about, when I was a little kid, we were exposed to a lot of bird hunting and just didn't really know what we were getting to do. And we didn't get to do a lot of deer hunting. Things were different back then. We didn't have as many deer. Everybody was dog hunting. It was a dog hunting world, And Dad drove a truck, so Dad stayed gone a lot. And I had friends that would take me deer hunting as kids, you know, older men in our church, Brother Bill Smith, people like that. And, you know, back then, we'd go to the club, ride around at the club for 2 hours to find a fresh set of deer tracks. One. And now there would be a million, you know. It was just a different world back then. And the end of the day, we'd go still hunt, stalk hunt, whatever we was going to do when I was little. So, you know, you'd get put out on a stand and you'd sit there and freeze to death.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to pick you back up. Well, you were sitting there and you wouldn't even hear a deer for days and days. And I was 17 before I killed a deer that was even to mount a deer, you know, even big enough to even put on the wall. So I don't know if, if I was just exposed to so much bird hunting and stuff when I was a kid, and I just didn't get to go deer hunting. That's what gave me my drive to want to kill a big buck. You know, and I used to pray. I mean, we were a praying family, and that's how I was raised. And I'd pray, God help me kill a big buck. It's crazy.
I still pray about it.
Yes. Oh, I do too.
Especially when you see one like, oh, please let him come over here.
I'm
You got
telling
3
you,
minutes of shooting light left, Lord.
If
Can
you
do
don't
some-
mind.
bring him on.
That's right.
So,
Start making deals. I mean,
oh, I'm telling you, I'll serve you.
Just let me get that one chance. Oh, that's awesome.
well, so that part of the world was a little late developing as a deer hunting. This Lamar counties, what is that, Fayette County?
I was pretty much raised at Hills Creek Hunting Club in Lamar County. It's around the Crossville area, and that's where I killed my first deer. I was 11 when I killed my first deer in front of the dogs. You know, back then you couldn't kill does.
Right.
I mean, it was bucks. You couldn't kill does, and now you know it's just kind of backwards. But you know, I mean, it was just a different world like that. We just didn't have the amount of deer that we have now, and I guess the drive just came from the lack of deer and the lack of being able to kill that deer, and the lack of being able to get to go. You know, because the people in the church were good to come pick you up and take you, but it was just a different world back then. You know, and
Remember those doe days? It was like, I call it doe day Eve, was like Christmas Eve. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get to shoot maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Boy,
running.
would you hear a lot of shots.
Yeah, you
I'm
would.
telling you, and running dogs, Fist Brown is down.
That's right. That's right.
So at the dog club, this goes. I ask a question that goes back to something we talked about a couple of days ago. If you shot a deer, ran across the road with buckshot, and you shot him, but he kept running, and somebody else ends up shooting. Is it the first guy that got blood,
Or the
or is it
second
the
guy.
last guy?
Wherever that heart stops. That's what our rule was, pretty much, you know. And, you know, I mean, if you blow him down and he's flopping around right over there and the guy walks up and shoots him, that's a little different. But and now we kill some big bucks. There were some guys kill some big bucks. Keith's dad, Ronnie, had killed 151-inch, 11-point. I mean, we killed some big deer back then.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of arguments about the size of deer then, the size of deer now, you know, what was going on. But
Well, it was a density issue for sure. I mean, because there wasn't as many deer.
Yeah.
Right.
So they had, more available nutrients and all those other kind of things. Now we've just got just tons of deer.
So I grew up in Montgomery and always heard about the Lamarian Wildlife Management area, that they were killing some giant bucks up there back in the 1980s. You know anything about that?
I don't know as far as the boundary of that, as far as where that lays, but you talking about like Sam Murphy?
Well, it was just called Lamarian, and it may be a different name now.
And that's probably
Richard,
Sam
could
Murphy.
you Google that
Yeah.
real quick?
That's gonna be Sam Murphy, I'm sure.
Lamarian Wildlife Management Area. See what happens.
Which there's no deer out there anymore.
None.
All you people interested in public hunting.
That's right.
None left.
And we always hear about a big deer coming out of Bankhead, don't we? I mean, am I
Well,
dreaming?
that's not true anymore either.
Oh, okay. So apparently Dudley's wanting to go hang out over there.
Yeah. And the rut's a little different in Bankhead, I think.
It is.
It's getting on the
Is it
internet.
you dialing up, Richie?
No.
Yeah, that's Bobby adding to the production quality of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, so today, fast forward to today, from what Matt tells me, you are just hardcore big buck. That's you eat, breathe,
Well,
sleep.
I started bow hunting late in life. I killed a couple big bucks, as a kid. Of course, when the can come out, that was a different world for me. Mm-hmm. And I got into the calling aspect of deer. And I graduated college or graduated high school and went into business for myself. So I worked the weekends and I had the whole middle of the week to hunt.
That's a good move.
And man, there was nobody in the woods, and it was just pretty much me, and I got to enjoy it. And I learned a lot because I feel like everywhere you go, your deer are a little different. Even in Vernon, and I go back to Hamilton up north of where I live. You're talking about a 45-minute gap of driving. The deer are a little different. And then some deer are vocal, some deer are not vocal. And you get down around the Vernon area where we had pressured them with dogs, and it just wasn't. I would see them rattle them up on TV, and I couldn't get that to happen where I was, And then I got a little private piece of property to hunt by myself, It wasn't 65 acres, 75 acres. And I started spending a lot of time in the woods there and really living day to day and like when you lay in there with a deer and put a boundary to your back on the edge of a thicket, I figured out that was my key. And that's the way I've hunted from then on. Mm-hmm. I get me a boundary, whether it's a railroad track or whether it's town or whether it's a lake or a high wall. I mean, I've had a bunch of them over the years. That's where I just try to set up. And if you can get to a thicket, you can call them bucks out of that thicket because they're laying in there. They feel like they're safe. They didn't listen to the world come in there. You were quiet getting in, and you get downwind them where they can't smell you, and they're so curious. You call to them a little bit and get them to come into you. That's worked so many times for me. And I learned it on accident. It's like, but I'm going to try it. Why not try it? And then it works. So
you
just keep on doing it. And the more you do it, every buck's different. He's going to respond different than the other one did, but it works on a constant basis if you try it. And it's not like, I was wanting to do all this rattling. I could do it on TV in Texas and them come charging in and running over you. And I've had that happen a time or two. Not to run over you, but they come in on you like, hey, you're in my territory. But it's not the same rattling sequence, that I would see on TV. And it took a lot of trial and error to figure out that doesn't work, in our places like it does elsewhere.
So explain that a boundary. Is it any boundary, or
anything? What I consider a boundary is where the buck doesn't want to go, where the deer do not feel safe going. I know they'll cross a train track at lunchtime. That don't bother them, but it's still an opening. You put any kind of opening, and you get in there where.
So it might be a pasture or a big field or something.
Yes, something they don't like to be in as much, and you get on the edge of that boundary, they'll come out of that thicket. You can get them to get up out of their bed. I've heard them get up out of their bed, and I'm like, I hear him. Here he comes. And I just got lucky and got close to him. But now, I'll say this. I never hunted out of a tree stand until I was 25 years old. I just didn't. Now, I hunt out of a tree stand every time I go just about now until I get a bad wind. The thing I loved about the ground, once you figure the wind out, that's what me and Matt talk about all the time, the ground and pound. You can get up and move. Mm-hmm. And because you can get up and move, you're deadly. Mm-hmm. Because you can get up and move. You get up in that tree, and you're stuck. You've got that wind. You're in that tree.
You're in that spot.
You're in that spot. Mm-hmm. So if he's somewhere where you thought he wasn't, you're not going to be able to do anything. But
so I want to go back to this boundary deal. That is somewhere. So you're saying like if you rattle, it's typical for the buck to come in to the downwind side of that rattling noise. So is that why you're putting that boundary there?
I'm putting that boundary behind me, downwind of me. And say I've got just to use the railroad track, for example, it ran east and west. I've got a pine line on a hardwood line, and that pine thicket is 7-foot pines, and it's so thick you can't walk in it, and it's bedding area. And I've got this hardwood ridge right here beside me, and I get below that, and the wind's blowing him in the face, and he can't smell me. He's got to come look at me because he can't smell me. Now, if he smelled me, he would know whether it's a buck or a doe or whatever it is. I fully believe they live with each other. He can smell the difference between you and you, but you're in there with your can, or you're in there with a hot doe, and he's been working his scrapes, and you get down below that and call to him. He has to get up to come see what you're doing. So number one, he's rutted. He's so curious. It's the death of him most of the time. He's so curious. So that's just what I learned to do. And they will get up and come out of that thicket if they can't see you. And I do believe a lot of that worked really good because I was on the ground. I do think that some of that mattered. But I would be in the low spots. It worked on the ridges too, but I liked the low spots. And I think it was because it was evenings, and I kept my thermals low, and they'd have to come off that ridge down there to me. But they would do it. They would come piling in there on you. And I was shooting a 308, and every deer I killed for 4 or 5 years was at 40 yards. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I can kill these things with a crossbow. And back then crossbows weren't illegal. But now, then it started coming out, and I was like, all those deer I killed with a gun, I could have killed those things with a crossbow because you wouldn't have had to draw it. I stumbled upon it, I'll be honest, I stumbled upon calling deer. And, and I would tell, I had, my Uncle Larry is the guy that farmed and had us fixed up for doves and stuff when we was kids. And I used to tell him all the time, I was like, I called that buck up and killed it. He was like, you did not. I'm telling you, I called that buck. I listened to him get out of his bed. He was like, I'm gonna go with you. I don't know if I believe you or not. I'm gonna go with you, because they'd always shot him in the fields, the bean fields, and they had killed a bunch of deer and a bunch of big deer, but it was just a different world that I stumbled upon, and it works. And I don't think that a lot of people do it. I don't think they have confidence in it.
How far do you think a deer will come?
As long as he can hear you. If it's a quiet day, I think he'll come as far as he can hear you. I'm not keen on getting real aggressive with my horns. And I do think that has a time and place as far as the time of the year goes, because I think some big bucks I think you can have a 6-year-old buck, and he don't want to hang out with all the 4-year-olds that want to fight. He don't care anything about it, And then I think there's a certain time of year where he doesn't care what's going on. He is going to come to it, but...
Especially post-rut,
Yeah.
when the does get bred and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard, just been in the woods hunting and heard a knockdown, drag-out fight?
I have, and it didn't last long. As far as, I've heard I've got a buddy that ran in on 2 big bucks and shot one of them, but I've never got to. I tell you what though, I've got a deer on the wall that's 152 inches, and I was in a tree overlooking a field. These deer come up a really wooded. It's not really even an SMZ. It's just woods on a creek inside of a field, and it had a finger of woods that stuck out of it that was pretty thick, and you could not see in it. And 2 bucks go to fighting in it, and I'm like, here we go. It's you get that. There's a point there where 1,000,000% sure it's fixing to happen, so they don't come out. They hit real hard for. And when I say a long time, I'm saying 10 seconds, and then they get quiet. Well, then I start getting antsy. I'm like, they're not showing. And I know what I've got on camera. I know I've got a big deer there. So I get my horns, turn my back. I worry about them seeing me just like a turkey. I feel like If you can see the bird, don't call him, you know. And I feel like if you can see the deer, don't call him. Because, I mean, you can call a quail, and that thing can fly from 70 yards and land on your shoe. So why can't a big buck point you like that, pinpoint you? So I got up and turned my back to the deer, clicked my horns very slightly together and put them back down. They come out of the woods just like you had pulled them with a string. They come right out of the woods, walked right out in front of me, and I shot him. 152-inch deer. And the bad story to that was I get down all excited, take my pictures with him. He's got his horns on, everything. And this is early. This is pre-rut. And when I go to pull him up in the truck, he had broke his pedicle on his right side, and I pulled his horn off.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if he did it right there in the woods, but he had done it, and it come right off.
He might have done it right before you.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a
he did.
Yeah, wow.
And I mean, it bled right there as soon as I pulled on it. It come off, but
the deer would have more or less probably died if he hadn't harvested it. You know, from the injury.
he possibly would have, and you couldn't tell anything was wrong with him in all my pictures. He was on there just as pretty as you please, you know. But you know, and I've heard some fights. They're not long fights though. It's like a hard clash and boom, boom, and they're gone.
So guys, I forgot I had this. Last year I had a Spartan camera out, and I got a recording of two bucks they're fighting, trying to kill each other. Richie, if I just hit play, you think the audio will pick up on the microphone here or what?
Yeah, it will for us right now.
Well, let's try this. It's 2 clips, so let me see if I can play this. Y'all ready? Landy, you could look interested.
I've heard your clip.
They're getting down.
It's unmistakable when you hear it in the woods and what's going on. Yeah. What's interesting is you are hearing horns, but what you're hearing a lot too is ground and stuff moving.
And I'll be honest, I believe it's harder to mimic that than it is horn clicks.
I agree.
And I have so much success with clicks, but not fights. Like, I've not had a whole lot of success with an all-out rattling sequence.
Which is how Lanny likes to
I'm
do
kind
it.
of the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, really.
And I can't. I don't know if it was the surrounding things you're talking about, the leaves and all the racket.
That's why I don't know how to rattle from a tree stand because I ain't got enough stuff to work with up there.
Or you're up running around making racket.
Yeah. So I
But have you seen these people that are dangling antlers from a rope while they're up?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, and I think what you're saying about having your back to that boundary, your setup is so important.
Yes,
very important. And to me, and I'm not trying to put words in my mouth, you're like trying to force that buck because he's kind of wary of what's behind you to cross upwind from you, so you can get a shot in, which was kind of opposite of what we heard earlier this week in South Texas.
Yeah.
But it's different terrain completely. You heard what he was saying about the terrain down there and how they did it down there, and that's what struck me because I would set up trying to make that buck come upwind to me first instead of downwind. But you got to force him to because just natural instinct, he's going to go downwind. I mean, everyone I've ran into, they are circling you. To try to get to that point, and that's when the opportunity comes. But
The rattling's a big part of what you do then.
I like the small clicks. The small clicks work so good for me.
And you're doing this year round.
Now that's
you?
a little earlier. The small clicks are a little earlier, and I don't use that as much way over into the rut.
Yeah.
But from muzzle loader, even bow season. In bow season, muzzle loader, the beginning gun season, like right now, them bucks will stand around and just
ticky, ticky, ticky,
tick it, tick it, tick, and they know what that is.
Yeah.
The rest of them know what it is, and it's not. Maybe it's not a hey, I'm calling him to me. He thinks something's fighting. It's more of a comfort, almost like they walk out and they see a gobbler standing there and they think, well, he's there.
Yeah.
Things are a little safer than what I thought. It's almost that of the deer presence maybe there's 2 bucks there clicking, but the clicking works. I'm telling you, the click. I don't tell many people that.
Yeah. No, and I get it. And to me, just me, I don't even get my horns out till post rut. So I hadn't even thought about light rattling in the early season for sure. But I like to. That's what I like.
Well, you get a lot of trail cam pics.
Oh yeah,
of
they're scrapping all the time.
Younger deer clicking their antlers.
They've been doing it for months.
And so it makes total sense that if something hears that, then they're like, well, they're over there.
That's right.
I'm gonna see what's over there with them.
It's safe. They're and there's more deer.
Mm-hmm. And they're not all laying in the same bed together. They're not laying where they can see the other one. They don't know when he gets up. So my experience, and I know every experience is different. And and I can't. It's so hard for somebody to say, "Well, tell me how to kill a big buck." Well, I don't know that.
Depends.
Buck. I might need to come hunt that buck for a month or 2 without a gun, and I'll tell you how to kill him. Mm-hmm. But a bean field, when you've got a bean field, and I don't get to hunt these a whole lot, but when you've got a bean field and you have a 4:30 time where those bucks hit the field, you can speed that up by 30 minutes with clicking. And I'm talking about, it's not a, maybe they came to that. I'm talking about every day. You can speed it up by 30 minutes with clicking. That makes sense.
So they just hear that light clicking and again,
they think the rest of them.
The deer's already out.
They already in the beans.
I don't want to miss any action.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do, if you're on the edge of that field bow hunting, 5 minutes makes
all
a
the
huge
difference in the
difference.
world.
5 minutes. And if you can get them there by 30, the deer, I've got a deer I call Lefty, and I called him, Matt Brock's wife actually named him, because the year before his left side was broke off, and I elected not to kill him. He was big then, but I just didn't want to kill him broke. And he come back 159 inches, 230 pounds. He was huge. And I could get him in the field 30 minutes earlier every day with clicking. And he was telling a little younger buck, he'd let that buck get the field every day. If that buck hit the field, I knew Lefty was behind him every day. I had him in bow range 5 days in a row, but it was too dark to shoot him and couldn't shoot him. He wore my head out. And it was a spot where I could, I didn't need to move. The wind was right here and he was coming out right there. I just couldn't move it, but I could make him hit the field every day earlier than normal. And I'd test it. I'd say, I'm not going to make a sound today. I'm just going to be quiet and see what he does. He wouldn't come out of the dark. And I could get my horns, take my horns back, click my horns just a little bit, and he'd hit the field right on time, just like normal.
Well, let's hear some of this clicking.
Well,
give us an example of it.
You watch them. I got this from watching them in the fields, and them bucks that come out and they'll just stand together. And it's as and you gotta base what your wind's doing, how far you think he is bedded, and it's just there's not rocket science, and there's no crazy stuff. Yeah. It's just that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, standing out there, and you can watch them do it. And I'm telling you, it works. And you know about the time of the day where the wind dies and the thermals start messing you up. It gets quiet.
That gray light.
And it gets quiet. And I'll also use that a little bit for cover. You run in late one evening, you had to work. You run in late one evening, you make a little racket, get up that tree, immediately do my clicking. And and this is human thinking. A lot of
thinking
people,
like a deer, though.
Yeah, you got to think like a deer
That's
because
right.
Everybody thinks like a human.
That's right, thinking like a deer.
And if you get up in that tree and you try to cover your sound with that, but that clicking works, and I'm a firm believer in the click.
Well, that's good, and you can add turkey call into your arsenal too.
That's exactly right.
Talking to some folks, and I did that the other day, and I've had my best food plot hunt so far.
That works.
What do you do? Flying up in the tree?
I yelped on my walk to the stand.
Look at you.
Yeah.
And,
slicking over.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't know till you try it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
And
Well, if you're crunching leaves, it's a big.
Yeah.
if you're crunching leaves, if you've got a leafy spot where you're getting in and you can't be quiet, slow down and walk and scratch. Stop, take 2 steps, and take your foot and scratch. They don't know the difference in that. They're not standing there looking at you, you know. And if you have to scratch for 40 yards till you get in your tree, scratch for 40 yards till you get in your. It's gonna make a difference, you know. But
I do that all the time, turkey hunt. I never thought about it going doing deer hunting.
it works for turkeys.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
why is
no, it
not
works
gonna-
for turkeys.
Yeah,
for sure.
if you can call that bird up,
Yeah.
you know, and kill him, there's people that don't even call.
Oh no! I mean, if you're walking and scratching, you gobble, just sit down.
Yeah, that's right. And you can sit there and just scratch.
Yeah, you sit there and scratch.
But it works.
It is good. I hear you loud and clear. Try some stuff. You know, I mean,
Try.
the only way you learn is by
right.
doing it. I've learned something from you already, just sitting here listening to
And
you.
the clicking, I'm also guessing, is not likely to scare anything off.
It's not
Where,
going to.
you know, you do some snort wheezing or that really hard horn
Yeah.
stuff, it
Yeah.
may keep the does from wanting to pop out into the field.
That's right.
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And avoid the confrontation. And I don't snort wheeze at a deer until he snort wheezes at me. If he'll snort wheeze at me, I'm gonna snort wheeze at him, and I'm gonna probably kill him. Or I'm gonna get him to where I can see him and decide whether or not he's the deer I'm wanting. You know, I'm after. You know, trail cameras have changed things so much. You know every deer you have almost, to an extent, but it's just if he snort wheezes, he's in
on.
trouble.
Yeah.
He's in trouble.
That's not a sound you hear often, but when you hear it, it's usually there's something intense going on. What is that? What can you tell us about that?
From what I mean, my experience, he's only doing it at another buck. I've never seen one do it at a doe. Y'all may have. I've never seen one do it at a doe. It's usually always. Well, no, I'm not even going to say that because I've seen a little buck do it at a big buck, and I'm not 100% sure if it's just a scare tactic. He's not even going to fight him, but I'm going to try my best to bluff him. But it is a scare tactic, and if he snort wheezes at me, I'm going to turn my back to him and try my best to the longest one I can put out away. You know how you call away from a turkey? Sometimes, you know, it'll come to you. I'm going to turn around and blow that away from him, and most every time he's gonna walk up there. Now don't overdo it. I'm just gonna let him know I'm there.
Do it for us one more time.
They can do it so long. I don't think we have the lung capacity to do it. They can do it for a long. He's got a video showing me this morning. I'll just turn my back to him and that's about as long as I can do it. They can do it twice that long.
You got
They can
I
hold it.
I think I've got some audio. I don't know if it'll work
Play it.
or not.
Bobby's did. Sure.
My buddy Ty Timms got this last night on his Spartan and sent it to us. Let's see.
Yeah, put it up to the mic.
Okay.
Boy, he
Oh yeah,
sprung
yeah.
a leak, didn't he?
You can hear it
All
good.
right, you ready?
Well, he ran out of here.
They drag it out.
Yeah,
They
drag it
empty
out.
their lung, you know. And we just can't do it that long. We don't have that kind of lung. But if you can just get them to where you know, and if it's in the evening time, that's loud. You know, I can do it too loud in the evening times. I'll try to back off of that in the evening times when it's quiet. But in the wind and stuff, you got to really put out to get one to hear you.
Well, I noticed that you got a couple other things with you. One of those that I never go rattling without personally is that green can.
The can works.
The can works.
The can is probably the first ever thing that I had a deer come to.
Me too. I'll agree with
You
you.
know, and I probably got lucky where I sat down, whatever.
Yeah.
But that thing works.
Do you remember the Beatty buck? There's a guy named
Yes.
Michael Beatty.
Yes.
That still, I need to reach out to him. Michael, hopefully you're listening. Maybe you'll holler back at us. But in Ohio, and I think the reason I remember the score of this deer is because everybody was around camp talking there, and he's a real salt there. He's a very nice guy, very meek, and everybody's talking about there, you know, the 140s, the 150s, and everything else. And he said, Mine was 304 and 6/8. 304 and 5/8 or something. But he killed it with a can. Sure did. So,
and I mean, we get caught up in this.
Didn't you break his horns too?
well, I figured you're going to ask about that
story?
So great. We worked with him a long time. Actually, he put the can on the map with Will Primos, one of the first big marketing pushes for it.
I think his picture was on the can.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the Beatty Buck. And we worked with him. We did some T-shirts with him. We were just such a great guy. He actually helped guide hunts at Portland Landing back where this is when I was starting to rattle years and years ago. And he had a replica made of the buck for us to put in the store down here. Man,
Lanny dropped.
Hold on. Let me tell the story. So we got it down to the retail store. It was a big procession. Got the big ladder. We went and hung it at the highest point of the store that you could inside on that barnwood facade, roofing facade right there. And I don't think I hung it, but I don't remember exactly who hung it, but I know we hung it up there, and everybody got off the ladders and looked at it, and here it came.
Oh my Lord!
Hit the concrete floor, just shattered everywhere.
Oh my Lord!
We hadn't talked to Michael since then.
Michael's a great guy. I'd love to reach out to him
That's funny.
and talk to him. But,
So how do you run your can? Give us a lesson on that.
Is that the big can or the little
This
can?
is the original can.
That's the OG.
Yes, the OG. I feel there's 2 or 3 different ones. Some of them I've noticed. Some of them are a little faster than others.
Yeah, they're on the meow.
Yeah. And I like the slowest one. Even that's too fast for me. I try to sit in the woods and
Draw it out as long as you can.
Try to draw it out as long as I can. Have you ever heard a deer do that? A doe? Hers is long. It's meow. I mean, she'll draw it out.
Yeah.
And there was an older man around the house, big time deer hunter, and he would talk about those doing that, and he would talk about calling a buck up with his mouth. I thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
And then the can come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what Doug was talking about. And that man had killed some giants. I don't know why I wasn't listening to him. I was just being a dumb kid. But he would drag it out.
Now, Bobby, it'll also call in a doe.
It will.
Just telling you.
It will. It will. I mean, I know y'all are all older than me. I'm a kid. He's not, but
Barely older.
But back in the VHSs were coming out, and you were first seeing somebody sit down with a fawn bleat.
Oh yeah. I went out and bought
remember them
one.
videos?
Oh yeah.
Them does
They gonna run over you. Running.
Yes.
They would run over you, and I was like, well, if that works, why not call a doe in? And back then you couldn't shoot does, so it was just calling works, and people don't. I still don't believe people are trying it like they
I don't
they
think
should.
so either.
I think they're going and sitting in the woods and staring at a hole for 4 hours, or over corn.
In my experience with the can too, I had the opposite experience with the grunt call. Maybe I'm not using it right, but I often, using a grunt when I'm watching deer to try to get them closer. They might pick their head up, but it's almost like sometimes they wouldn't want to come over there. Where if I would use the can, it just woos them on in. I don't even carry a grunt call.
My experience with a grunt is it's very mild. Like, I'm not going to use it a whole lot. If I know I've got a buck in the area and I think he's leaving, it's almost my last minute. But now if I leave my truck and I walk 100 yards and I realize I forgot that, I'm going back.
You're going to have it
I'm
with
going
you
back.
every time.
I'm not going to leave without it.
Yeah.
Because I have killed deer with it, and I would not have killed them and got them to come back without a little curiosity grunt. And
Just a short.
just barely. I'm talking about, I almost feel like
little
I'm
tickle.
just giving them enough to stir their curiosity.
So I can be along with y'all. You had an audio of a buck fight. You had an audio of a grunt, snort, wheeze. I've got an audio of a big buck grunt. Are you ready?
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
hear
ready?
this.
Ready? Oh, I got to turn my volume up.
Lord.
Oh man,
Just building up anticipation.
I'm telling you, that's right.
And I know y'all can't see it, but that's a giant deer doing that.
And it
And
sounds
he can do
It's
it.
so soft and
It's
just
soft.
short.
Yeah,
you know?
soft and short.
It
Where was
sounds
that?
metallic.
Where was that, Lanny?
That is in an undisclosed location, Mr. Phelps.
All right, just checking.
I heard that.
Never hurts to ask.
I had one there. I'd have to dig it out, but
So Lance, so like on, maybe it's a slow afternoon, morning, and you're not hearing much or whatnot. What kind of sequence do you start with bleat? Do you do maybe a grunt or hit the horns a little bit? Is there a certain sequence you kind of go through, or
this time, right now, talking about right now,
now or pre-rut, post-rut, right in the middle of rut?
I think up and even till right now, I start with my horn click. I still start with my horn
And
click.
so, when you mean right now, what stage of the rut is that in your area?
They just put scrapes down. They're not really fighting each other. They're still buddies. Maybe one's broken off.
So, like early pre-rut.
Yeah. Pre-rut. They're fixing to though. They're fixing to do it, and we still have, Lord, we still have bucks stay together though. I've got one of my farms where I was talking about killing Lefty. You'd have 15 bucks, on camera in the bean field, and there's 6 does. And I've always heard, your bucks are leaving. They're going to leave. They won't. They'll stay there and fight all year over them 6 does. It's almost as dumb as men. It's it. Almost as dumb as men. And when you get in an area, now area depends on what's going on too. Matt tells people all the time, you want to kill a big buck, you better have a big buck. You can't kill a big buck without a big buck. And your area depends on what's going on in your buck to doe ratio. If you've got a lot of bucks, your calling's going to work. And I just don't know that applies when you've got 2 bucks on your farm of, you got 200 acres and you got 3 or 4 bucks and you've got 60 does. I just don't, I don't, there's so many does, and the ratio is going to matter, but watching deer in those fields taught me so much. Watching body language and watching how deer stay in groups. They stay in groups. You'll have 8-10 deer stay right here, and there'll be 8 and 10 deer come out right here. This doe will blow. She'll blow and try to clear the field because she's jealous of the food. She wants this bunch gone. Well, they'll look at her like she's an idiot. And so if you're in the woods and a deer blows over there, how many people are going to get up and go to the truck?
A lot.
A lot. And they, it's just deer language, and it's just them talking to each other, and people humanize it too much, and they forget that it's the deer's language. I watched a doe and 2 little ones come out the other day. I was bow hunting. She came out from under me, fed, and she walked off, and she's walking up the road. Well, one of them wouldn't leave the acorn tree. He just stuck on that acorn tree. She's picking up acorns. And she turns around. It looked just like what my mother would have done, and said, "Come on." And she turned around and bleats at him so quietly that I barely even heard her. Just barely bleated. Yeah. And this thing looks at her, and it goes right back to eating just like a kid. She comes down there to it, bleats to it again, and it walks off with her. They talk just like humans talk, and that's where I can't make the aggressive stuff work for me. I don't, and it's, some people are aggressive with turkeys, and they kill them all the time.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of aggressive. I guess I
And some
back
people,
off on my
and some
grunting.
people are not. I was taught to turkey hunt by a guy that was not. It was. There is a time to be aggressive, but you better know what's going on, and that's the way I was taught. And we've killed a ton of turkeys. Maybe that's not the perfect way, but I believe there's different ways.
Sure.
I guarantee you don't blow out as many as I do.
So what about like early season, like, acorns are just starting to drop, Here in Mississippi, early bow is, early October, early to mid October. What kind of vocalizations are you doing? Before pre-rut.
I like a feed and grunt, just like the doe was doing to the little one. I like to back off and maybe a little less than that. Just and just do that every 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times every 15 minutes, and it's almost the same thing as the clicking. Letting them think there's deer over there. There's deer over there. Let's ease that way. Of course, the number one rule is the wind. You got to have your wind right anyway. So, but I like the presence of letting deer know that you're there, to get them to come your way or get them to come to your tree. I mean, they know what you're doing. They wake up every day to go eat. They don't wake up every day to go watch cars drive by, So that's all they've got on their mind. If they think somebody's over, and they're jealous. They're so jealous. A mama deer will slap her baby deer if it tries to eat her acorn. She'll take her foot and slap that thing right on top of the head. Like, get out of my plate.
That's my swamp chick.
That's
Get
right.
out of my plate.
Yeah, she will. And, but just maybe letting them know you're there. And then when you catch that buck in his weak point of life, which is rutted, you call him up and kill him. And you use his snort wheeze against him. You use his, the horns. I had about 145-inch 9-point at Hell's Creek, and I had tried to kill him during bow season, just did not get it done. Seen him a few times, didn't get him in bow range. He was in the exact spot the year before I'd killed a 142-inch 10-point with my bow. That was the first rack bow I ever killed with my rack buck that I'd ever killed with my bow. And I felt like I could kill this 9-point because he was in the same spot. A lot of times those spots get duplicated. You can kill another buck just like you killed the one the year before. It does a lot of the same things. And I got him out in a cutover where I could see him. He was 250 yards from me. And I was packed back up in the woods and trying my rattling horns on him. And I got aggressive with him. You was talking about the aggressiveness. I turned my back to him where he couldn't see me. I knew he couldn't see me because I was hid pretty good. But I had a bow. It wasn't gun season yet. And I called him all the way across that cutover. He left every deer he had and come to 65 yards. And I could not get him to come no further because I felt like I couldn't move then.
All right.
He had pinpointed me and I felt like I couldn't move. And the next day I realized it was the first day of muzzleloader.
Oh, man.
So bad.
I could have had him.
I was so focused on killing him with my bow, I didn't realize it was muzzleloader.
Yeah.
He was huge, but I got him to come all the way across there, coming to my horns. I'd turn my back and I'd get rough, but I couldn't move much, and it was more of a...
Were you in a tree?
Yeah, I was in a tree. I was in a tree, but I hid really good. I was just scared to move because he can pinpoint so good.
I'm with you on the
And
pinpoint. They know where you are.
I still feel like he thought something was wrong because I was in a tree.
Yeah.
But you know how I know Gobbler will do? He thinks he ought to be able to see you, so he's not coming any further because he's pinpointed you. But I would just...
He know he should be able to see.
He know he should be, and I think that's what he did.
Yeah,
I think that's what he did. He wasn't going to smell me. I knew I had my wind right. But I did get him to come 200 yards, and he was coming to that grind, and it wasn't a banging. It was just about all I would do because I didn't have a way to move. But he came to it. But I didn't get to kill him.
So are you using a grunt or a bleat, and are you incorporating that into your sequence?
When I did that, on him, I was not. I didn't never grunt at him. I didn't do anything to him. But as far as the can, I'll use the can every 20 minutes. I'm gonna turn it over every 20 minutes. Now I may not do it but twice, but I'm gonna turn it over every 20 minutes because he may be close. He might have walked up and just got close, whatever. But I like the deep grunt. Do you use the deep grunt a lot or don't?
I think, just listening to you, I think I've been grunting too aggressively. And I really don't carry my grunt call when we're on the ground rattling. I'm usually rattling in pairs too. So
Yeah.
you know, my sons or somebody are usually in front
Yeah.
of me, and I'm behind them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But I do use the can in my. I guess the scenario I'm painting out in my mind is, and again, most of mine is post rut, is that there's one hot doe left in this area, and the two biggest bucks are fighting over, and hopefully the one that's really there is going to show up to check. You know? But so yeah, I think just learning from you today, I need to back off the grunt tube and be a little more ginger with it for sure.
When I use my deep grunt,
Yeah. That's
it's deep.
Yeah, it is deep.
but it's
Clicky. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Yeah.
and I like the click. The
Yeah.
click works good.
That thing sounds a lot better than
The
mine
click
too.
that I don't know who made this, and y'all promote that.
they
But
did a
that thing,
good job.
that thing won't freeze either. So, and that's the reason I tote that, is because it won't freeze.
I'd love to revisit what you were saying about deer blowing too, because often, you know, especially as a youngster, for deer blow, I was mad going to the truck. But
Oh, I've done it 100 times.
what I've learned is, I mean, they're blowing at each other.
They do.
They'll blow at anything, and you can even blow back at them, and they'll come see what you are.
That's exactly right.
So, actually,
I don't doubt that at all.
it works.
I'm
it
just
does.
picturing you out there blowing at the.
Well,
Have you not done that, Bobby?
I have not done that.
You should try these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do it.
It works.
I guess the buck Hayden and I rattled in 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
Yeah, we were slipping up to a field, you know, and I was like, there could be a good deer in here, and I heard him blow, and you can tell when it's a buck blowing or a doe blowing. It's a different blow.
Big deer.
Big deer blow. So we hit the ground, and I, scraped the tree and banged the horns together pretty hard, and here he comes straight out of the field, and he got past us. We couldn't get. He came through the shooting lane and did just what he's supposed to do, and went straight downwind of us. But we had a barrier at our back, a creek in a big limestone bluff, and he got dead downwind of us. I was like, he's gonna blow, and he blew again. But thank goodness, he followed his trail right back out the same way he came.
Oh, yeah.
And when he did, he was waiting on him. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the blow. I mean, it's just, to me now, it's like, oh, there are some deer in here.
Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right.
Lance, have you ever tried the trick where you drop like rocks or acorns out of your pocket to call a deer up?
No, but I've thought all year. Listen, this year I've been sitting in the tree thinking, what if you had a pocket full of marbles
Yeah.
that were painted with some glow in the dark paint or some reflective paint?
Oh, so you could pick them
So
up.
you can
when
pick
you're
them back
done.
up
back
and
up.
come back tomorrow and flip them out of your tree and let them hit. And to me, it's them hitting the limbs
100%. That's the difference.
It's
gonna
the
bring
limbs.
that. It's them
It's-
coming through the limbs that makes it different, because it's
because
almost
it
two
pops.
sounds.
It's a
It's a then it hits
Yep.
the ground.
And I've thought about that always. Like, I wonder if anybody's thought about marketing some reflective marbles.
Yeah, yeah.
Pick
Or
them back up.
magnetic or something.
Yeah, you take a magnet and run over and pick them all back up.
Somebody-
Go back to work.
somebody
Slingshot,
do that.
Shoot them up there and let them.
But I guarantee somebody tried it, and I'm sure it works.
We've all seen them run, towards oak trees, and I don't know if it's the sound that they know it or everything else, but it seems like it works. That's for sure.
Our acorns this year are unbelievable,
It's-
though.
we're saying
I don't know that you could get them to come to it this year because it's not, hey, I got a hot tree. It's every tree on my property's hot.
Yeah.
So they're just walking everywhere. Our deer cameras have had less pictures this year than ever. My bucks were, I like running my cameras as much as I like killing them. I do. And my bucks were once every 3 days this year, maybe even once a week this year, as to where before it was every day. And then when those acorns hit, it was over.
Mass crop.
And our I don't know if y'all have even looked at this, but our Alabama State is down 50% on kills on reported deer this year.
Oh, really?
50%.
Deer harvest? Wow.
Deer harvest. And
They're not coming out in the green fields.
I'm telling you, my taxidermist that has a deer processing plant, he said that's dead on. He said we're down 50%. Last year they went 6 days the entire year from the first day of bow season. They went 6 days the entire year without a deer turned in. This year, they went 6 days the first 2 weeks, both weeks. They only had like 1 day. I mean, it's crazy the difference.
That's your taxidermist or the state?
That's the taxidermist.
The
That's the taxidermist for the deer processing plant.
Well, even us too. You know, of course, we have been hunting green fields. The young bucks are showing up in the green fields, but that's it. All the other deer are just piled up. You know.
Yeah, you got to go back to your old school bow hunting and public land practices, and
which is super cool.
yeah, find some pinch points in the
That's right.
acorn woods.
That's
and,
right.
And that's another problem. You know, like you said, every tree is dropping,
Yeah.
so it's not
Every
like
tree.
you've got hot trees.
Every tree.
So you got to find that combination of like a trail and acorns.
And that helps me a lot because now Matt's a big time tree guy. He knows, but he's a biologist, so he can pick trees out of, you know, and I know the trees, but I'm not as good at him with the plants and everything like he is. I like to hunt travel corridors, and even though every tree's hot down the ridge, they're still going to use that ditch. And if they're still using that ditch crossing, they're going to die right here, just like they did last year. You know, and that's why I like travel corridors. You know, you got a funnel that's coming through. They're still going to use that funnel. And that's profited me a lot, you know, in the past as far as staying on travel corridors too. But
So what do y'all think that doe is doing this time of year when she's doing that bleat? What is she saying?
That bleat
is that R-rated?
Yeah, she's. I mean, to me, it's a doe and estrus. Is
Yeah,
what I
it's
would
an
call
estrus
it.
bleat.
She's saying,
She's like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Eh.
And that's the only time I've ever heard those does do that. The only time I've ever heard them do it is when I could see them in the field, and he's bumping her. She's going 5 feet, and he's bumping her again, and she's doing that bleat. That's the only time I've ever seen a does do that. And that's why she's
you ever watched a buck?
breed a doe.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get them in them fields, you know, you feel it's hard to see that stuff in the woods.
Yeah.
Because you just can't see far. But when you go to hunting, if you got a good spot that's got field deer in it, you see a lot of things go on then. And I learn more in a field than I have anywhere. Just watching those deer.
It amazes me how fast it happens because if you reach to grab your phone, you're going to miss it.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
doesn't amaze me how fast it happens.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
I'm just fascinated with. I mean, my whole the way I've always tried to do it is just not make any noise, be quiet, get in there and get out.
Vapor.
Yeah, and so I've just never really thought much about grunting or bleating or even rattling for that
The
matter.
silent hunter.
Yeah,
That's right.
I've
Well,
just-
now
He was a wisp.
I'm not knocking that because there are bucks that you can't call up.
Yeah.
I mean, there are bucks that are sensitive to things. There are bucks that are sensitive to cameras you never get a picture of. You can sit and watch a camera on the backside of a cutover, and that big buck come up at. He may not be a big buck, but he'll come up, and when he gets that camera, he'll leave it and go right around it through the cutover, and then go back to what he was doing. And I don't believe you ever get a picture of that deer. I think he knows it's there, and then some deer love the camera. They'll walk by it and they'll stand there and look at it and feed, and they don't care. They'll walk up to it and smell it. You'll get a picture of them right here in the camera, you know. But
So let's talk about like when the rut's going on, say close to Christmas where you are. You're not too far from us, really. Our deer.
I was
No,
looking at the
I'm
rut
looking
map.
about the same.
It's really
But
close to ours.
it's close.
So if you get in a stand in the morning, or is there like I'm gonna rattle for 3 minutes and then I'm gonna be quiet for 10 minutes and then rattle again? Have you
Deep-
got like a regimen?
deep into the rut, I don't rattle first. You may like that. I don't do that first. I'll sit down, get my bearings about what's going on, listen as hard as I can listen for a little while, and then I'll start with my grunt call. I'll hit my deep grunt several times, and then I'll go to my can.
Let's hear a deep grunt, just so we know.
About that long. That's about all I do. Some people stretch them on out, like that growl. I just don't do that. Just
I like that wah at the end.
yeah, they do that popping,
Yeah.
but I like that long where you let it go. I give several of them, and then I'll use my can every 15 minutes, and I kind of alternate them in between. And then once I hear a deer, and once I know a deer's there, you know, you just kind of base what they're doing. If they're coming to me, I'm gonna do like a turkey, and just be quiet. And I learned I didn't start turkey hunting until later in life. I was probably 23, something like that, and that was the first thing he told me. You don't call to a bird when he's coming. Leave him alone. And I'm the same way with deer. If I know they're coming to me, I know what trail they're on, I can get their attention. Now, if he run a doe off the trail over yonder somewhere, yeah, I'm gonna bump him and try to get him to come back. But I'm still not aggressive. You know, it's just just to let him know I'm there. And if he wants to come run me off, you know. And a majority of the deer you're in the woods watching are not your big buck, because you don't kill but one of them a year. Most people don't kill one every 10 years.
Yeah.
But and the more you can sit and watch them and listen to them, the more they'll teach you. And I just try to get in my head and imitate what I've seen them do and what I've seen them do with their vocals.
Are you using fresh antlers? Are you changing out those antlers every year? Or?
No, I killed that deer when I was a kid, and that's been my rattling horn since I was a kid. So I use them.
And today you're rattling from up in the tree.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't.
Are you turning around raking the tree or doing any of that?
I don't do all that.
Lane, are you rolling around on the ground and pounding the ground?
I can't rattle. Like I said, I can't rattle a tree. I'd fall out of the tree stand. And I kind of get into it.
But you're beating the ground up too.
Yeah, but you know how I hunt. You've been with me.
And you rattled in a deer. This is legit. He rattled in a deer, and a legit Boone and Crockett. Another guy killed it.
Yeah.
I mean,
What
I
state-
have to give
what state
Lane
was
his
it?
props.
In
man.
Alabama.
In Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
And in between Selma and Camden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But yeah.
Did y'all have permission to be there?
No, not at all. You know who I was hunting with. Yeah. Does he ever get permission? I think that guy asked for forgiveness more than anything.
What about a snort wheeze? Is that going to figure into anything?
If he snort wheeze, I have so much confidence in that. If he snort wheezes at me, I can get him in bow range. If I turn my back to him and snort wheeze back at him, he's not scared of me. He's trying to run me off, and if I don't respond to him, and I try to turn and blow it back behind me on the ground because you're in a tree. You know, if I'm bow hunting, I'm in a tree. Mm-hmm. But I've had very little failures at the snort wheeze. Very little.
But you always wait until they do it first, right?
I always wait till they do it first,
Let them fire
because
it
I feel like I'm taking a chance, and this is human thinking again. I feel like I'm taking a chance on bumping that big buck out just because he's not in the mood to fight.
Well, that's what I often use. Like if I'm in a shooting house overlooking a field and the deer won't leave and it's dark, a lot of times I'll snort wheeze and it'll clear the field.
Yeah, that's possible, because I've seen bucks snort
But
wheeze.
it's,
and run
usually
out of
does
them.
and young
Yeah.
bucks out there.
The first deer call I ever saw, I was in the 8th grade, and a boy came to school. It's a piece of wood about that long, with a reed in the middle of it, and it was a deer blow. You blow through it, and it's that's what it was for. That's the first deer call I ever saw. So you might want to get you one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody start blowing at
Heath
them.
Atkins said that. And that was a crazy. I'd heard deer do that
Yeah.
in the woods as a kid,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Now there usually is that one older doe, that I will mention here, that if she makes eye contact with you
yeah,
and gets to blowing,
she knows.
she knows. You need to go in there and take that 308 and
That's
take care
hamburger
of her.
meat.
Yeah,
She's
exactly right.
She's hamburger
Nothing
meat.
more aggravating.
Yeah, if you'll get her took care of early,
Yeah, that's right.
that's right. That's right.
Well, what should we be asking you about the way you hunt and some of your techniques that you hadn't told us?
Can't tell you everything.
You can't hold.
Yeah.
Don't hold everything back.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you have to keep.
Morning
a
or
secret.
afternoon?
I'm an afternoon guy, and I like the low spots in the afternoons. I like the deer to come down in the afternoons. I feel like my thermals can be down already, in the afternoons. I'm not a real big gun hunter. I mean, I didn't even pick my gun up last year. I have and everybody's probably different. I have a point to where 150-inch deer, and I'm going to pick my gun up. I'd love to kill him with my bow, and I'll try to kill him every day with my bow. And I guess it depends on the circumstances where it is. If I'm really confident that I can kill him on a bow, I'll keep hunting him. But when you do that with a bow, and then you can back off that with a gun, it's so much easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Different story.
And it is 150. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what's your best buck to date?
Probably the biggest deer I've ever killed is Lefty. He was 232 pounds, scored 159, killed him with a muzzle loader.
That's awesome, buck.
He was a big buck.
Yeah.
His head was just, I couldn't get over. We misjudged him. Me and Matt misjudged him on the tailgate. After we put our hands on him, we still misjudged him. His body was that. His head was so big it made his horns look little.
Oh, that's cool.
We was like, oh, he's 142 on camera. He's 142. I was like, Matt, he's 148. I think he's 148. And we're usually pretty good. We usually nail it. We got him on the tailgate, got him to Matt's. We're sitting there looking at him. Matt's like, he's 150, Lance. He's 150 inches. Put a tape on his beam. That thing's 27 inches long.
There you go.
Wow.
That'll get you there.
Matt said, oh, no, we missed him. That's probably my favorite kill of all my deer. Now, my first buck, the 10-point in Lamar County, where I'd never killed a rack buck, it was good. I had gone set up, where I thought it could kill him. He come through the top of the ridge. The next day, dogs run him through. I was so mad. I was like, all right, they've ruined my hunt. Whatever. But he come through up there, so I'm gonna move. I got up and moved the top of the hill. That joker come right back under my tree the next morning and killed him. But I think I got 11 on the wall. I don't know.
There you go. What about scents? Any doe and heat? Any kind of scent use?
When Tinks, I was thinking about this yesterday. When Tink 69 first came out, I killed 7 or 8 bucks off that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I don't feel like I have the same effect with it anymore.
I don't think it doesn't seem like it works as well.
I don't
as
think it
used
works
to.
as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because everybody's using it. Now, there's a spray foam that I do like. Keith uses it a lot. He kills a good deer off of it. It's almost like it stays longer. But I get to a point to where I feel like the more you let a deer know, the more apt he is to bust
that
you.
makes sense.
And me and Keith we got a good deer on camera this year. Probably he's going to be 225 pound 10-point big buck, and he's on his side of the highway, so he's going he's trying to kill him, and he was talking about going after him this evening. And he was like, "Man, I'm going to get me some doe pee." I was like, "Keith, I wouldn't do that."
Yeah.
I just don't. I feel like the more you let them know, sometimes, but now it goes right back to if you get him in the right mood, he's probably going to come in there on it like a freight train.
Right time.
Yeah.
And Bronson we've talked to Bronson about this a lot. Most of the doe and heat scents are synthetic.
I think they're becoming more and more because of CWD and regulations.
Yeah, so there's
I hadn't thought about that. That's probably true.
And even when they have went to draw that out of a doe with a straw, it has to pass through has to go through the anatomy of the deer in order for it to get the scent. Isn't that right?
Yes.
To be the real deal.
To be the real deal.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even draw it out of them. You had to catch it when it comes out.
I know Mr. Doug, the old man that I told you, he used to meow and call him those deer up in the woods, and I thought he was crazy. He would take his code blue and dilute it with something. He would never tell me what he was diluting it with. He says it burns their nose. He says it's too strong.
Oh.
That's what he claimed now. I mean, and this man killed 160-inch 8-point. He's got some big ones.
168.
Big ones.
Bobby.
He's in the book. He's in the Alabama.
That's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The 168.
Yeah.
So have you had any big ones get away? Bigger than what you've killed?
Oh. I don't even want to talk about it.
You better go make him tear up over there, Bobby.
Listen, the biggest deer I've ever had get away, that shed is way bigger than it, but that shed reminds me of it because it was about that color, the dark one.
Wow.
I had a 10-point exactly the same spot that I killed Lefty. I've got the shed the year before. If you double match the shed, and he's narrow, he's about 14.5 inches wide. If you double match the shed, he's 150 inches. And I was hunting him the year after that. So I know he's
14 inches wide and 150.
Yes, he's big. He's big. I'll show you pictures of him in a little bit. But he came in on a string all the way across the field, just like I knew he was going to do. And I got antsy and tried to shoot him too early and just was shook up.
Yeah.
And this has only been 7 years ago.
Well, it's good you still get shook up.
Man, he shook me. He shook me up so bad. I missed that deer and he never come back. I didn't cut a hair on him. I shot the ground. He never came back in my block of woods.
He said, I'm out.
He was a giant too, y'all. He was a giant. He haunts me. He haunts me.
Dudley, why don't you ask him some rapid fires?
Uh-oh.
We should have done those at the beginning.
Yeah. What are you talking
Well, I
It's
mean,
deer
we can
season. We
always
couldn't help
Put
it.
them in.
I'm telling you, it's deer season.
It's deer season.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
So, who's rapid fire brought to us by?
Our friends at Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Yeah,
it
right
is.
there.
Nutrient
Right there
Ag
it is.
Solutions. All right, Lance. So I'm going to ask you about 10 or 12 questions and rapid fire. Just give me a quick answer. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Alabama white barbecue sauce or any other barbecue sauce?
Any other?
When you were young, did you kill a songbird with a pellet gun?
Is it illegal? About 500.
All right, same here. Auburn or Bama?
Bama.
Have you ever visited the Coon Dog Cemetery?
No, but my papa's got a dog buried there.
Okay.
J Webb.
What was your first buck with a rifle?
Oh. I don't know if I remember that.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
I hunted with a shotgun forever.
Well, we may get there. Fixed or mechanicals?
Mechanical.
First buck with a bow.
7 point.
Okay, and when was that? How old were you about?
That was 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lock on or a saddle? Ladder.
Climber.
Climber.
Hey, hit the
yeah.
horns, Richie.
That's the only thing I use.
What kind?
If it's not a Summit Viper, I'm not getting in it.
I love my Summit.
I love my
they're
Summit.
So
I don't.
comfortable.
Makes some
Yeah.
good
I don't
stuff.
feel safe in anything but that.
No,
But go ahead.
yeah, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that.
So your biggest Alabama buck was the 159.
Lefty.
Yeah.
Have you ever killed a deer with a buckshot or slug?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you are from the
Buckshot.
south.
Buckshot.
Would you rather duck hunt or turkey hunt?
Turkey.
What is your favorite oak tree species?
Hmm.
The one that's dropping as the deer going.
Probably
to
the
it?
one that's dropping, but I've had a lot of success on a pin oak.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, and last but not least, what does the acronym LA stand for?
My name. Lance Atkinson.
There you go.
Well, it's a part of the state.
Lower Alabama.
There it is.
Yeah. LA to me is, that's one thing. That's a Lance Atkinson. But
Okay, yeah. So that was kind of a trick.
yeah,
That
that
wasn't
was a
no
trick. I was wondering where you was going with that.
All right, Dudley, thank you.
Yeah,
Rich,
that's
you
good.
want to ask him that trivia question you got there?
All
Let's see
right,
what-
and our trivia questions brought to us by.
Our buddies at the Peanut Patch.
Yeah, we
Love them bull peanuts.
Yeah, I love peanuts.
All right, our listener who left a review, West Tennessee Hog Hunter, as an avid lifetime outdoorsman, I never failed to learn. I never failed to learn something new with each episode.
Wow.
We gonna learn
that?
you.
Look at that.
Richard, did you learn something today?
I'm working on it. Yeah, I've learned. I know I definitely have. All right, so Loman game calls first started making deer calls to imitate what sound? All right, multiple choice, rattling antlers, grunt call, bleat, or snort wheeze.
We talked about this earlier.
And they were they the Richard?
I
were
think
they
they were the first.
to make a
They're
call?
the first
yeah.
ones I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this video earlier.
I don't know if I was paying attention.
You were up there.
No
worried
wonder
about
he's such a
tailing the
good.
boar.
No wonder he's such a good deer hunter.
Uh,
Rattling, grunt, bleat, snort wheeze.
I don't know. I say bleat.
Uh,
Bleat.
So option B.
Yeah.
Yeah, second answer.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Grunt call it is.
Grunt grunt call is.
So that they made the first grunt call.
Okay.
I'm asking them.
So
I remember, and I remember.
I'm not
those.
sure, handed this question. It was just their first. I mean, they definitely could have, but the first one that they started making.
Okay. When you fired up the internet, did you find out anything about Lemurian?
No.
Did it not even bring it up?
No, because I guess I got sidetracked and I was looking up for Lehman, WMA. I guess I looked up the wrong.
It'll be
WMA.
Sam. I'm about 90% sure it's Sam Murphy.
Probably
What's
the
Sam
name's
Murphy
probably
now?
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Flambeau bought them. Lohman, Lohman.
Remember, my dad used to run a Lohman mouth turkey call.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, Lance, we've enjoyed talking to you.
I've
I
enjoyed
think we
it.
all learned something.
Yeah.
I know I did.
I'm
I will
anxious to learn
definitely
something.
be carrying the antlers more
Yeah.
often.
And they are very vocal.
I'm telling you.
You tiny orange tape around them. I mean, walking around the woods with antlers. You try to do anything to try to?
I don't.
I mean, he wears an orange
You
hat.
got to have orange on anyway.
Yeah.
In Alabama,
Yeah.
it's a hat, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you why this broke. I left them hanging in a tree, went back with my 22 and shot the cord in two.
There you go.
But it's just, I mean, you just got to be willing to learn. I mean, I didn't come down here to teach. I come down here to learn.
Yeah.
And the more time you put in the woods, the more, if people get off their phone and pay attention to things now, they will learn so much more. And I'm guilty of the same thing too. You get on the phone checking updates or so-and-so, my mom's messaged, whatever,
Right.
and that's when the buck's going to walk up.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to kill that buck, act like you're on your phone, but pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Good
That's
tactic.
what's going to happen.
I'm looking down.
Yeah, I'm looking down. Come
Yeah.
on. Just, and that may be a good call too. So, but
about that?
I've enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Thanks for
y'all.
coming
thanks
down.
for sharing that with
Yeah.
us. And two, this is a common practice in most parts of the world, but people don't try it in the South.
They don't.
They really don't. And so, don't be scared. You're going to run some off, but you'll learn. So get out there and get. And I tell you what, for me, now, I'm not one to sit still. It's really fun to just get on the ground, and I almost approach it like turkey hunting, except for
That's right.
you really got to get that. Your setup is so important, which it is in turkey hunting too. So.
Lanny needs a lot of land though.
Yeah.
You can't do
Yeah,
this
I
on
do.
48.
He's got to bounce.
You need
You
more.
gotta bounce.
Yeah,
I need more than
Lanny would
40.
be that guy in your hunting camp.
No.
Likes to walk around.
Did you just walk by me? Yeah, I walked by everybody else though too. Yeah.
Everybody can hear him rattling.
That's right.
The one thing I like about it, it's, we're hunting with kids,
It's fun.
and gives them something to do instead of being on their phone or something like that.
100%.
Go in the can or a grunt call. Now, granted, little guy when he starts wailing on that grunt call, you got to kind of hold him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Another quick question: do you know of anybody that's successful with like the artificial antlers or the antler sounds in the bag?
I used the bag for a little while. Never had any success with that. Not knocking it, just didn't. Just my experience. I bought some artificial antlers. You can't drop them out of the tree like you can these. They break when they're cold.
They do break.
So I quit fooling with them. I didn't buy another set. And I don't know if I used those enough to say whether or not I trusted them, but I trust these. And I
mean, that's the real deal.
it is, and I've tried to think, when they're fighting, they're hooked to a deer's head. He weighs 200 pounds. It don't sound like me holding them. And there's so many different things that at one time I got to grinding them. You know how a bone smell is? You can smell that bone. And I started wondering,
Do they smell it?
do they smell it? If I can grind those horns together right there, and in just a minute,
You can smell it.
I smell it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
the
by doing it.
friction, heat.
So if they're fighting and they both weigh 200 pounds, what's that smell like?
Never thought about that one.
And you just got to be willing to learn things.
I would, we've talked about clicking the antlers together. That was very intriguing. But the times when you're doing that, I was thinking about when I've heard people use the bag, and that kind of sounded a little like antlers.
It is. It's light, and that's one reason I didn't like the bag back then. Yeah. And that's really before I learned the click part. And I've just discovered that click and how successful that click is on these last 3 farms I've hunted. And I don't know if it's because I had a field watch them in and to watch them come to the field or whatever. But that bag works pretty good. Mine was little bitty wooden dials, and it was just a different. You could barely hold it and rub it, and it would do the same thing. So that mount would work pretty good.
All right, guys. Rich, you got any more questions?
I think I'm good. You guys have hit on pretty much everything.
Yeah. Look, we're getting close. We're right around this is either right before or right after our 400th episode. We've got this big giveaway going on right now.
We are giving, there's going to be over 100 winners from all of our great partners out there. So definitely go to the Gamekeeper website.
Yeah, and we're not talking about stickers and koozies.
No.
This is like
Good
the
stuff.
real deal stuff.
Yeah, and it's going to end with a grand prize from our buddies at Rattling. We're going to draw winners each week. But the great thing is your name stays in the hat no matter what, so you can win multiple times. And we're going to draw the grand prize in mid-February. So get in there and get registered.
Lance, you better sign up. You
Yeah.
might win something.
Yeah.
Can do.
Yeah.
We appreciate you driving all the way over here.
Yeah, thanks
I
for being
appreciate
here.
I appreciate y'all letting me come. It's-
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this
Any time
spring-
to sit down and talk about deer hunting,
You're in.
and I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Lord put us here to get to do things like this,
That's exactly
and
right.
that's what is special. And,
Well, remember us this next spring when you've got some turkeys.
all right, I will. Hey, I'm telling you, I had 4 gobblers on camera just the other day.
Hey, don't tell Bobby. Bobby's going to want to borrow your phone all of a sudden for some
I'm
reason.
telling
Look
you.
out.
We'll go. That's right.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Won't be long, you
Richie
know.
finally wakes up and hits something over there. All right. Why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Richie.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast, and be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.